Today we're going to demonstrate how we make our design, the C36. First, we need to cut the material. We need 5.5 inches, 8 gauge round silver wire, and 6 inches of 14 gauge round gold filled wire. I use the 1/8 inch rod, which is about the same gauge as the silver we use for the cuff. I loop once, cross over, and overbend to exaggerate the crossover, and then continue the wrap. 2 wraps on either side of the crossover, and then I take it to the vise to tighten the wrap so it will be snug on the cuff. Then we trim it and slide it onto the silver piece. This is an easy cuff to solder. First we need to flux the piece. Flux helps reduce oxidation and encourages the solder to adhere. Just a dab of silver solder on either side of the underside of the wrap. After we solder, we put it in the pickle. Pickle is a dry acid compound that helps clean off the flux and remove oxidation after soldering. Now that it's soldered, we measure again to make sure the wrap is centered, and then straighten out the silver even more to make sure it hammers out as straight as possible. We grind the ends of the cuff so when they are hammered down they have a more rounded and uniform shape that will be comfortable when putting on and taking off. If there's any sharpness on the wrap, we hit that with the wheel as well. Here we get to be a little noisy. This is a Benchmaster punch press that has been set up to be a tabletop power hammer. This basically just saves our arms and shoulders a little work for the initial hammering. You can see this is just for really basic smushing. It's not too pretty yet, but it really helps out with the most physically taxing part. Machine hammering is followed by hand hammering. We finesse the hammering the machine started, bend it into a bracelet shape, and do finish hammering. Hammering by hand gives you a really nice finish. The facets from the hammer blows really catch the light when the piece is done. It's important to keep your hammers polished and clean so the marks they leave are smooth and shiny. Now that the bracelet is pretty much done being made, it needs to be cleaned. The first step of that is tumbling. These are rotary tumblers. Inside them is steel shot and a diluted soap solution. As the tumbler rolls, the jewelry rolls around and the shot helps smooth out any edges or rough spots. The soap cleans the surface. The final cleanup is buffing. This brings the surface to a high polish. You have to be careful buffing gold filled. You can't press too hard or use too aggressive of buffing wheels or compounds to ensure you don't take off the outer layer of gold.